So it turns out it wasn't all Agatha all along. In fact, it was mostly Wanda. Like 99.9% of it was Wanda. How you doing, everybody? This is Into the Michaelverse for your WandaVision episode 8 analysis and recap. And let this also be your spoiler alert for everything, always, in every multiverse for all time, forever. Wanda's responsible for the sets, the props, the hair and makeup, the script. She gets people to work on time. She did all of it. Agatha did comparatively very little. I just think her theme song was excessively braggy for what she actually did. Not really. Wanda's power is shown to be so immense that she's able to turn a run-down 21st century town into a vibrant 1950s town. And that town was pretty run down too, so most of the people in town were probably like, all right, we're back. While the people of color in town were probably more like, okay. I mean, it's not like she's giving us a choice anyway, right? It wasn't exactly a one-to-one representation of the actual 1950s, so it turned out okay.
You have to stop her.
I mean, relatively speaking, it turned out alright. This entire episode, entitled Previously On, centered around Agatha's trying to figure out how Wanda did all of this, via a Christmas Carol-type journey through all of the tragedies in Wanda's life. And what Agatha discovered was...
This is chaos magic, Wanda.
Which makes Wanda...
The Scarlet Witch.
Who Agnes says isn't even supposed to exist. And Agatha's a very powerful witch, so if she says that... Damn. But how did this all happen subconsciously? Wanda didn't remember any of it. I believe the answer lies in Wanda's feelings of endless emptiness. Space, as you know, abhors a vacuum. If a being like Wanda, who had the ability to create reality, was feeling endless emptiness, it might make sense that their subconscious would try to fill that void with something. In Wanda's case, this something is a TV sitcom reality, including a synthezoid co-star made of vibranium with an infinity stone in his forehead, and also twins. And I think Wanda's subconscious is also responsible for allowing what can air to the outside world and what can't. She only allows the audience to see what she wants them to see, which in this case largely amounts to, look at me in this perfect sitcom world, leave me alone, I'm fine. So instead of dealing with her trauma, she's papering over it. This is in stark contrast to Monica, who said,
I can't control this pain anymore, and I don't think I want to. Because it's my truth.
So while Monica has confronted her pain and accepted it, thereby becoming stronger because of it, Wanda simply tries to pretend her pain doesn't exist and then spreads her pain around to the people in town. This was earlier referenced by Monica, who said that while she was in the Hex, all she felt was Wanda inside of her head and described it as a feeling of hopelessness. We also learned in this episode how Wanda gained her powers in the first place. She was born with them, apparently. One of the places we're taken to in this episode is the Hydra facility where she was a volunteer test subject. We're told that everyone that's touched the stone has died, which of course prompts Hydra Guy to say,
"Touch the sand."
And you heard that right. That Hydra agent just referred to an Infinity Stone as a sample. But the stone must have seen something in Wanda because the stone goes to her. So what did the Mind Stone see in Wanda? Probably something in line with what Wanda saw in the glow of the Mind Stone. What looks to be the image of the classic Scarlet Witch, which prompts Agatha to say,
So, little orphan Wanda got up close and personal with an Infinity Stone that amplified what otherwise would have died on the vine.
so that's right, there was already something inside her this whole time. I don't think that costume meant anything to Agatha because she didn't really draw anything from it. Or maybe she didn't see it. I think the more likely scenario is that she's never seen a Scarlet Witch before.
You're supposed to be a myth.
So they didn't even know what one looked like. Well, they do now, don't they? We're shown a bit of what Agnes said was inside of Wanda that
Otherwise would have died on the vine.
earlier in the episode where we saw the story Pietro recounts in Age of Ultron about the Stark bomb hitting their house and killing their parents. Now, it was believed that the Stark bomb had simply malfunctioned, but Agatha has another idea.
Did you stop that bomb? You used a probability hex.
And Wanda had this ability far before her exposure to the Mind Stone, which in turn means she was born with this ability, which in turn makes her a mutant, but not just any mutant, an MCU mutant, which for my money already makes her the best mutant. Fight me. We also saw in that scene where Wanda's love of American sitcoms came from. Her dad used to sell those DVDs on the street. Before he'd go into town to sell them, he'd show them to his kids so they could learn how to speak English. They wanted to move to a place where it was safer and people spoke English. Oh man, didn't work out for him. Now we're led to believe that the thing driving Agatha is that she's butthurt over a rookie coming in and stealing her thunder.
Years of study to achieve even this smallest convincing illusion.
Meanwhile, Wanda comes in with no 4-year, probably not even a GED.
The Westview through your lens, Wanda. Every little detail in place.
Magic on autopilot.
She seems angry. Later on in the episode, we get more clues as to what's driving Agatha's quest for knowledge. Oh, what? Did Agnes just do something human and relatable? This terrible person who killed her own mother? I think that much like other characters on this show, Agatha is going through some kind of post-trauma. And whatever this trauma is, I'll bet you it has something to do with her husband Ralph that she keeps bringing up. Note Agnes' reaction in this scene.
You can fix anything, Mom. Fix dead.
You can do that?
Was she afraid that Sparky would spill the beans? No, I'll bet you Ralph is dead. She wants him back alive, and she's hoping Wanda can make that happen for her. One thing I noticed about Agatha's line of questioning to Wanda is she is very competent toward this task. Almost like this isn't her first rodeo. In terms of carrots and sticks, Agatha's way more of a stick person, forcing Wanda to confront very painful memories.
So to recap, parents dead, brother dead, Vision dead.
And also reminding her from time to time that she has her kids. Was that really necessary? Christ, relax, lady. But then again, you can't really argue with the results. She got the information she was seeking. And you get the sense that even though this is a very painful experience for Wanda, she kind of wants to get to the bottom of this too.
I wanted him back.
This takes us back to the sword facility where Wanda went to pick up Vision's dead body shortly after the events of Avengers Endgame. We see here that besides being a dick, Hayward's also a manipulative dick, as he goads Wanda into doing something that he wants her to do. By telling Wanda that Vision's body is not hers, but the government's. Really, Hayward? It turns out that all this time, Hayward's been trying and failing to revive Vision's lifeless body. Remember Project Cataract from episode 6? This is what that is. So here comes Wanda Maximoff back from the blip, and he's thinking, here's my meal ticket. Wanda Maximoff here, in her grief, is going to bring Vision back online, and I'm going to use Vision to save the Earth.
I can't feel you.
Or maybe he's trying to do something else. But that brings us to the fact that Hayward's also a filthy liar.
9 days ago, Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
That's not what happened, man. We see that Wanda did not break into Sword HQ, nor did she steal Vision's expensive body. She went straight to the Sword HQ parking lot, got into her Buick Verano, and drove away. I mean, there were some broken windows, maybe a door lock or two was broken, but other than that, she didn't do nothing. And what this means, of course, is that the Vision that resides in Wanda's hex is 100% made by Wanda. No real world parts. Which also explains why Hayward just stood there in episode 6 as Hex Vision lay dying in front of him.
He really does want out, doesn't he?
Still a dick move. Wanda then travels to the town of Westfield where she suffered the breakdown that caused the hex in the first place, which Hayward probably isn't responsible for, but he certainly didn't help. In fact, Hayward is taking every advantage he can get from the hex that emanated from Wanda's breakdown, using some of Wanda's residual hex magic to finally reawaken Vision's lifeless husk. This white version of Vision is reminiscent of Spectral Vision, who appeared in the comics in the 80s and sets up a viz-on-viz fight in the finale. And ooh, this finale is fitting to be a superpowered battle royale. We've got 2 Visions, 2 witches, 3 if you count Billy, 2 speedsters, and a Monica Rambeau. But I'm not so sure at least one of the witches is that interested in fighting. In the very first scene of episode 8, we're taken back to the Salem Witch Trials, but the MCU version of the Salem Witch Trials, which involves witches checking other witches. So Agatha here isn't being executed for the crime of being a witch, but for the crime of being a naughty witch.
You practice the darkest of magic.
Ah, that one. Yes, as we've seen previously, this is a big no-no amongst the members of the MCU magical community.
She does draw power from the dark dimension.
And what does Agatha have to say for herself in this situation?
I did not break your rules. They simply bent to my power.
Basically, I can't help it if the darkness is attracted to my greatness. After this boast, however, Agatha is back to trying to defend her actions.
I cannot control it.
So Agatha's a witch having a hard time controlling the powerful magic that flows within her. Where have we seen that before? Such a raw display of power. If only someone could instruct Wanda on how to better control this magic that seemingly came out of nowhere. Like maybe a veteran of the magic community?
Only you would teach me.
Someone who's been in this exact same situation. Wait a second, Agatha's been in the same situation that Wanda finds herself in now. I'm thinking Agatha wants to step in to be the teacher that she never had. On top of that, look at her surprise at what transpired. She wasn't expecting the dark magic to kill her entire coven. My take on Agatha is that she's a being dedicated to learning and perfecting magic, but she's also a sociopath. She doesn't see right or wrong, she just sees gaps in her knowledge that need to be filled. Listen to this exchange between Agatha and the woman we learn is her actual mother.
I can be good.
No, you cannot.
Sure, her mother says she can't be good, but that's a very subjective thing. I think Wanda's abilities are so rare that they are very specific to Wanda and non-transferable. I think she wants to teach Wanda everything she knows, and then maybe she can get Wanda to do bad stuff for her. And again, say what you will about her methods, but she gets results. So what are some questions going into the finale? Who is Pietro? What's in the book? Is Spectral Vision going to transform once he enters the Hex Barrier? And if so, what will he transform into? Something from 2013? And what are exactly Wanda's kids? Is there going to be another big bad reveal? Is there going to be another huge cameo? Are they one and the same? And how are they going to tie the events of WandaVision to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? And yeah, I'm aware that Vision actor Paul Bettany was on a talk show this morning, seemingly confirming that the cameo he was talking about was him.
You know when you think something's going to be funny and you say it and then you actually panic about it, which is what I did because fans started guessing who it might be, and they were guessing people like Benedict Cumberbatch or Patrick Stewart, and I was thinking, my God, that's a good idea.
And sure, there's the possibility that Bettany's trolling us once again. We still might yet see another huge cameo. But I'll just say there's no way in hell Bettany actually names any actor who actually shows up in the finale. So cross Cumberbatch and Patrick Stewart's off your list. They're not showing up. And if they do, then Bettany got us once again. Or he got me anyway. And will we ever find out the identity of Wu's missing person? And will we see anything special about any of the people we've seen in town? As far as Vision goes, I predict that he'll die. This show is about moving on and accepting one's truth, and this can't happen if Vision survives this. In fact, I think it would be a betrayal of all the themes of loss and the damaging effects of denial that the showrunners have sprinkled throughout this series. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I think Vision's dead. Still, it would be real nice if they could end this on as great a note as how they got here. This is Into the Michaelverse signing off until the next time. Hopefully there will be a next time.